In this lab, we're going to determine the mole ratio of water to the ionic compound of copper sulfate. We need an electronic balance. We're going to get a Bunsen burner or a Tyrrell burner, a porcelain evaporating dish, copper sulfate, tongs, a ceramic triangle, a scoopula, and a ring stand. The first thing you want to do is zero out the scale and mass out the evaporating dish. Write that number down in grams. Then we're going to carefully put in 2 to 3 grams of copper sulfate hydrate in there. Notice how the student is holding the copper sulfate right on top of the scale. That way, if she spills any, it's going to go into the evaporating dish and not all over the scale and the lab table. All you do is add 2 grams to the original mass of the evaporating dish. It doesn't have to be exact, but once you have it 2 to 3 grams in there, write down the mass of the evaporating dish along with the copper sulfate hydrate. Now we're going to place carefully with our tongs, pinching the edge, the evaporating dish on top of the ceramic triangle, which is on top of a ring. You want to have the Bunsen burner at a proper height below the ring. You can adjust the ring up and down, and you want to do this before you put the evaporating dish on it and before it gets hot. Once you heat it up, it's kind of hard to move it. We want to have enough space so that we can raise and lower the flame, but not so much that the flame won't actually heat the evaporating dish to a very high degree. Now, when we first light it, don't forget we're going to choke the collar. We're going to light the lighter first, turn the gas to nearly full on, and it should light with a very awful yellow flame because we're choking it, but it lights easy. Now we're going to open the barrel by unscrewing it multiple times around for a Tyrrell burner, just a small turn for a Bunsen burner. And we want to have not just a slightly blue flame, but one with a pale blue inner cone, and it makes a lapping noise. This flame is a little bit high. We want to heat this slowly. Also notice that she lit the flame away from the evaporating dish because the yellow flame would deposit carbon on the bottom of the dish, making it weigh more, and you'd have to spend time burning it off. We want you to notice sights, sounds, smells. So as this heats up, please notice the ionic crystal and what it does. Remember, heat goes straight up, so don't look directly into it. I'm using a phone with telescopic abilities and trying to show you what it looks like. And it looks like the blue on the edges seems to be going away. So this is just like cooking cakes and brownies. As you cook them, the outside will cook first and the inside will cook last. When is this ready? Whenever all the water is gone. It depends on how much you use, how hot the flame is, how far it is away. And I can't tell you exactly how long it's going to take. You just have to use observations and wait until you think it's completely void of water. As you can see, the color's been changing. It's kind of a greenish in some areas, pink and purple in other areas. And we're just going to keep heating this until we think all the water has been evaporated out. Now we're going to close the Bunsen burner. We want it to be 90 degrees completely, so no gas is leaking out. That's how we turn off the burner. We're going to wait for quite a few minutes. We waited a good 10 to 15 minutes for this to cool. It's not hot. It's not even warm. It's room temperature, but we don't want to put our fingers on it because there's oil in there. Now we want to mask the evaporating dish with the copper sulfate anhydrous. An means without, and hydrous means water. So this is going to be the ionic compound without any water in there. Now for fun, we do have to clean this out. And so for fun, we're going to get a water squirt bottle and just put a little bit in there, and we're going to rehydrate it. And you can make some cool observations with that. Make sure it's sitting on the lab table and you're not holding it when you do this. After you've done this, you want to dump it out into the trash and then rinse it out into the sink, at which point you hang it up to dry on the drying rack and you are all done.